wait until America revalues gold to the market price.
Right.
Only then can you say gold is coming back into the monetary system.
And is your belief that is happening? And also,
I think it will happen.
got it. Got it. So that has such implications because of now, and you already answered the question, but it's like what to do with BRICS. It's seems like the second scenario that you painted is that I
Well,
wonder more. What is the U.S. and BRICS?
we're either going to end up in war, or we are going a war between Russia and China on the one side and the rest of the BRICS against America and her allies, or else the superpowers are able to find a way of putting BRICS and the rest of the world into one basket that suits everybody. Which is why I end up by saying the BRICS certainly do not want a currency that is losing its value every year. Hence, what is the easy way out? A link to gold. People are starting, central banks, as you know better than I do, are building their gold reserves as an alternative to the dollar and other fiat currencies.
Okay, so yes, that is what's happening. And what are the implications of that? Well, I'm asking the question, or I think I already know the answer, but what are the implications to that, specifically with the U.S. bond market?
It all depends on timing. I mean, the way that we see things at the moment is that U.S. inflation and gold inflation are tracking very closely what happened in the 1970s and early 1980s. And if that track continues, it will mean that by 2027, 2028, US CPI is back to 13% and global inflation around 15%. What is that going to do to long bond yields, such as 10-year treasuries? In 1981, they hit 16%. What does that do to an indebted world?
It slows it down a lot. So that's really my question then. So it's 25 right now, February 14th, 25 right now. So in 2 to 3 years,
Valentine's Day, they tell me.
that's what my wife tells me. And in approximately 2 years, 3 years, we could have, again, this depends a lot of different nuances, but we could have a big spike in the 10 year.
Well, I think we also have a starting around about the third quarter, we will have a very strong global recovery with inflation.
Yeah.
So equity markets will soar, metal markets will soar. But first, I think we're going into, I think for the first 6 months or so, we're going to have difficult global economic conditions, which will lead to big corrections in equity markets globally.
Yeah.
So that's why I say sometime around about the third quarter, you should be going long equities, metals, etc., etc. But until
Yeah.
then, it's a dangerous game.
Yeah. I would really agree with that. I think you're absolutely right. And it's kind of set up for that as well. If you just look not only at charts, but and also valuations, but just also central banks, if we are in a recession, central banks flooding the system with money.
Sure. And that's when Trump's tax cuts come in and deregulation comes in.
Yeah.
To feed the growth.
Yeah. Okay. So work out a little bit more with me the whole relationship with China and Russia. It seems like relationships, and I think you're right. I mean, I didn't think about it. I think Trump is cozying up a lot to Russia and isolating China.
I am not. I mean, that's what a number of my friends are saying. But he's going to meet Xi in Moscow. Trump is probably going to Moscow, was it May 9th, for the anniversary of the Allies defeating Nazi Germany. Xi will be there.
I didn't know that. Hmm. So it's just a big negotiation. Yeah. So what's going to happen?
And as I said earlier, or maybe I didn't. Yes, I did. Marco Rubio's team produced this incredible report on China. And he knows what China, either we work together with China or we work against each other. And if we work against each other, China can dish out as much nasty stuff as America can dish out to China. I think, the belligerent noise that is coming out, I think it's hiding something else.
What?
We're going to talk.
So we're going to be working with both. That's the plan.
Sorry?
We're going to be working with both. That's the plan.
Yeah, I think so. I think he may have come to the conclusion that we can't separate these two countries. We're all going to work together.
Music to my ears. So if that's the case, that has huge implications for their really commodity markets, but also
Yeah, as I've said, later this year,
huge,
massive
massive.
on China too.
Yeah. Okay.
I
Well,
mean, to quote what a friend of mine said, talking to a friend of his who was presenting to 2,500 financial institutions in Europe. And he asked, who is long of China? One hand went up.